everyone. This is the Atrium. We're back for our second segment, fresh out the box, where we kept us in the break, and we're good to
I
go.
like.
Did you survive? Is everyone here?
I did. I want to. You said fresh out the box. See, now I have like the. I want have the want to smell it now, but I don't know what to smell.
You don't know what's
I
in that
like,
box. You don't know where we've been.
but if it's fresh out of the box, it's fresh, right? I mean, wouldn't it? I like the smell of new things.
Ah, you're one of those people.
What does that mean?
I think it means whatever I want it to mean at
It's
this point. So I wanted to bring up the Nerd HQ Indiegogo.
That's a great lead in.
they're trying to make $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million. That's
That's a
what
lot.
Mr. Zachary Levi has asked for.
That's a
Uh,
fuck ton of money.
yeah, I think that's in my opinion, and I'll put this as nice as I can. Fucking bullshit. And I'm sorry for anyone who's been sucked up into it. But we can go into it at length. First, what have you guys heard?
um,
I just saw it was $1 million.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
And I was
I
like, that's a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot of money.
it
They have
is.
to do that by, I mean, they have time, but that's not till July. July? June.
Well, the
What?
campaign goes on for like another month.
They have a month to raise $1 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot. So, what are they at?
I
Like
think they're at like 188,000. That's what it was by today. We're recording on Monday, so on Wednesday it'll probably be more, but it's kind of ground down.
That's a lot. Well, I mean, they've made a lot, but yeah, $1 million is a lot. They're not even a quarter. Yeah, my mathing skills are correct.
Yeah, they're not. You, they're not a quarter of the way. No,
No, yeah, that's
they need to
no.
catch up. That was a reference.
Motherfucker.
If
I
you
see what.
if you missed the first segment, that was a joke that Mike didn't get the first four times he heard it.
Yeah,
I
but
get it now.
well, shit. How does he die at the end?
Friday.
That's no. Anyway, $1 million is a lot, though. I remember when he was asking for that. I was like, that's a fuck ton of money
Yeah.
for any charity. So
Well, that's not for the charity. That's that's just for the event. The money they raise for the charity, and they put it specifically in their Indiegogo that none of that will go to the charity. That's what they're like. You pay for the panels and autographs and stuff like that. Um, and that's actually a big problem that I have is wondering where's the money going. You know, he says he needs $1 million, but they haven't shown that at all. Like, what percentage is going to merchandise that they're then going to sell for 100% profit? You know, how much for location and feeding the staff? For Rocket Jump, their video game high school, they released like a full disclosure of where every penny went. Um, $123,507.01 went to the crew. They broke it down to the penny.
Geez,
Um,
see, that's nice.
you
and the,
remember that number, or are you looking at that?
I looked it up. I came prepared for my section.
No.
The
I
total
was
cost
just like, did you memorize that? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's very...
The total cost of that was $636,000 for a little bit over for Video Game High School. I think it was the second season, and that's for a series that you can buy or watch on Netflix. You know, where Nerd HQ is a party that will fade out of your memory after Comic Con is gone.
Are you sure? I mean, because everyone talks about it for the years after the years, is what it seems.
I didn't
Maybe.
care.
You get the point I'm
Guess I'm a
trying
bad
to make.
person.
It's not a product. It's
No, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
$1 million is a lot.
$1 million is a lot,
Yes.
especially with no perks. Like at whatever level you donate, you get like to be part of the nerd army, which okay, moving on, and you get a thank you. Like that's it. You're not guaranteed any panel access or any. You don't even get a T-shirt. Like nothing. And he says because he wants the money to go totally to it, but then again, I have the problem. Where's
Is it
that
to like
money going?
fund where it's going to be at again? Like, because I remember the 2 years ago was at that one bar thing.
Block
You were there,
16.
yeah. And then last year was at
Petco
Petco
Park.
Park.
Yeah, they
Is that
moved
how
it.
much it
They
costs?
moved it from a
Or
bar to
they're going
Petco
for
Park.
bigger?
If they were to rent out the entirety of Petco Park for a week, that would cost about $1 million. But for the space that they're renting, for the time they'll use it, like at a generous estimate, that's $350,000. So he still has $650,000, left over on this event. And he's saying like, I'm just asking for $5 and it's about you. But that's dishonest. He's asking for $1 million. You're like, I get that I believe that he believes in it, but they expanded from a bar to Petco Park, and he lost money. So now he's doubling down, asking for handouts. And what I see is like a bad business investment at this point, because it's either a Comic Con party or they're competing with Comic Con. And when you're competing with Comic Con, this is like a really dangerous area to just throw your money at, in my opinion.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: with the arguments that I've seen for having no perks has been like people saying that you're entitled if you keep asking for perks for how much you donate. What do you think of that? Like,
Well, doesn't Kickstarter always give you like perks and stuff anyway for donating whatever? Like I donated to Banner Saga. I donated $10, and I was supposed to get what was it? I didn't get it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think perks just make the difference between flat out asking for money, and making you feel like you're actually a part of it. Like there's things I donated for just because of the perks, like the Penny Arcade podcast. I haven't. I've only listened to a couple of them, but I really wanted those perks. The USB drive with tons of video and albums from MC Front a lot. And that's easy stuff to put together. It just it seems anything not saying that it's just asking for money, like 'cause that's all it is.
hmm Oh shit! Hold on. I didn't mean to get it sidetracked. I was looking up the what I was supposed to get for Banner Saga back in 2012. It's a copy of the Banner Saga with all the Chapter 1 content, along with big upgrades we're planning to add to the multiplayer.
Does it
Like,
have
oh,
like
okay.
a ship by date and
I don't know. I just closed that page, but yeah, I donated $10. I didn't get it, but they got the game made, so that's cool.
yeah, and sometimes with Kickstarter people overestimate how quickly they can get stuff out. I got stuff, a couple months later, you know, um, and that wasn't too upsetting. I just there's no stretch goals like okay we get 1 million. What if we get more? Where can we add here? And but it's such a blind number that there's no incentive to even try to push it as big. And then you don't know where it's going at all. Like what part of
Have
this
people been
funds anything?
criticizing it then, though, or
Yeah, there's been criticism. I'm not the only one.
has he responded to it though, or?
He has, and I think he's hurt by it, and I get it because I know he believes in it. But the reason I'm criticizing is because I want it to be better. Like, because I think it can be better, and I think the path that it's on, in my humblest opinion, is really misguided and not to the benefit of anyone.
I think that's the best way, or I've heard the like if anyone criticizing it, because the article I can't remember the name of the article. I'm looking it up right now, but
I believe it was on
Zach,
like Badass Digest or
yeah,
something.
there you go.
That was like
The,
the big one that went out, but there's a couple other articles out there now.
about Nerd HQ.
Yeah,
The Andy he had he had broken it down. He raised some valid points, and I think a lot of
So
the
what did he say then? Just curious, because I don't know. I saw it as it's $1 million, and I was like, that's a lot of money. But then I just moved on with my life. I figured
yeah.
it may or may not happen.
Basically, the message was give me $1 million because it's about you. I want to make this the best event I can. And that's really all the information on the Indiegogo page. Like,
Damn.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, he does explain that he lost money than he did the year prior, but he moved it from a bar to Petco Park. And I
There's
guess,
what's wrong with that bar though? I mean, that thing was cozy enough. That was
Exactly.
cool.
I think he overexpanded way too quickly. And there's a point where it becomes an off-site location and then it becomes competition where you're
Yeah,
drawing people away. And if you've overinflated, you don't, you know, hold to your guns and burn to the ground.
yeah.
You go back to what worked, or you know, reinvest your efforts where they were successful.
Maybe
Yeah.
he's trying to get $1 million worth of cocaine. I don't know. Just kidding. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know that guy, so.
Another thing that I found really upsetting was in the Facebook post he made on some of the criticism was that if a Chuck movie were to be made, it would cost at least 5 million, and it was implied that if people can't step up to donate for 1 million for Nerd HQ, it's unlikely it would be successful for a Chuck movie. And I just found like even the implication of the message, if you don't fund this, a Chuck movie won't be made. That just rubbed me really the wrong way.
Well, that's how it to me when he announced the whole Indiegogo campaign. That's how it was kind of. Uh,
Wait, what's Indiegogo? Is that like Kickstarter too then?
yeah,
It's kind of like Kickstarter, but the difference is Kickstarter. If it doesn't get funded, then everyone who put in money they don't get charged anything. Indiegogo, if it doesn't reach its goal, they still get the money, and at that point they can decide, I think I can do what I can with what I have, or I can give it
Uh,
back to the people. So
oh
say
shit.
they get $500,000, then Nerd HQ can say, I think we can do it with this much.
Uh-huh.
So
Huh.
I think both there's both models I think have room for depending on what kind of project you're going with. I prefer Kickstarters in that you know I believe in what the message they're saying and how much they need, especially when they break it down with where it's going, um, and that if it's not successful, nobody loses. So
yeah, and like I was saying before earlier, like when the whole thing broke out and he was saying that he was going to, you know, throw the Nerd HQ into crowdfunding. When he was announced, what he'd done was he said also, he insinuated that this is how he can gauge like a Chuck movie. And when you were saying that, like it almost seemed like when it
dirty.
was first, yeah, like it was a way for him to kind of manipulate the fans in a way. And I feel like,
That's the trigger word. Oh, Chuck? Yeah, take my paycheck.
well, I don't know
Oh
if
wait, he has his own paycheck. No.
if you go to the Nerd Machine Twitter, one of the earlier tweets I had seen this, and it was this. I'm not going to name the person. You can look it up yourself on their Twitter timeline. But someone had said that I am going to give you 2 months rent to this campaign, and someone from the Nerd Machine had said, "No, please pay your rent." I'm glad they said that, but the amount that people are willing to shell out for this with I don't even know how to say it with the blindly backing this with no money that they have and the way they try to guilt you uh into funding it is I think not fair. They'll continue to spam and say, hey, this you can donate to this cause, blah 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 blah, but it's still trying to guilt you to this $5 whether you don't want to back it or not.
That's a lot of money too.
Yeah,
2 months rent. Fuck.
yeah. I
And,
mean,
and
the whole thing rubs me the wrong way. I would actually be much more optimistic if they said we're gonna make Nerd HQ its own convention, and then move the date so it's not competing with Comic Con, and then give people more of an incentive to donate. You can't make it, but hey, you get a T-shirt, shit like that. But when it's an offsite party competing with Comic Con, and it is a party, I don't care whatever the defenses I've read. I haven't seen anything to convince me beyond the fact that it's a party.
That's party every day of Comic Con, and one day they shut down early for the industry party. Um, you know what I mean? They'll it's they
Oh yeah,
the
they'll close early.
Yeah, and then it's
That's
just the
smart.
VIPs. It'll be, the sponsor party, the celebrities attend, but they kick out all the
Less
people.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I mean, when this happened, it was only conjecture because obviously it hasn't happened. But I had said, what if, uh, what if they did that during using crowdsourced money? I don't think that would be fair. Someone was playing devil's advocate in one of the in the uh, that article, is Badass Digest, right? Um,
I think that was the original one I saw.
that's the one I'm referring to in terms of the comments. Because if you go in through the comment section, I read a
Is
lot
it
of the
full of
comments.
hate?
Um, there's a couple of trolls in there. They were just trolling some of
It was
the.
me. Just kidding.
Some of them were referring to them. Just trying to instigate the Zach followers. Um, but someone had said, what if that party was actually necessary in the sense that um, that's their way of nabbing the sponsors or keeping the sponsors, or because the celebrities do donate their time to Nerd HQ. They don't. They're not being paid to show up and do these panels. They do donate their time for it, and so that was kind of a good question.
It's a good question and it's a fair question. Like an event to basically romance some potential investors. If you got to
Yeah.
do that, you got to do that. But you you pay for that risk. You make your investment to try to reach out. You don't go to every neighbor on your street saying, "Hey, you know, help me buy a suit so I can go to an interview."
Oh God, that's
Yeah.
that's I like that.
Hold on. How many followers does Zachary Levi even have? Do I even have him? I have him on Twitter.
So
I think.
someone did the
Just
math.
curious,
Yeah.
because, okay, I was like, no. I was like, does he have a million followers? No. He's got 5,500. Or, yeah, he's got half a million.
That's
$2 per Twitter follower? No, but still, what the hell? Yeah. I honestly thought he had more than that or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how famous he is. Is that bad?
I don't I don't know.
Was he
I
only in? See, I haven't even seen fucking Chuck. I just know that like even when we were at Nerd HQ, that was like the huge fucking deal that you know everyone made fun of me for because I didn't watch Chuck.
well, that's what really put him on the map,
Okay.
and allowed him to do this stuff. And I still thought Nerd Machine was a great idea, and I think it's I don't know. That's a whole nother topic, and we're coming up to our next break. Guys, got anything else you want to say, or we can carry that over?
I think I want to carry it over.
Sure, because yeah, I don't have anything to talk about.
That's cool. All right, we'll be back after the break.
$1 million.